I have to let Jimmy do his thing. You know, gotta let Jimmy do his thing. Hell of an intro. Thank you for that. Welcome to the PorterWay Podcast. Let me turn my headphones down just a little. Showtime, Sean P here. I have a new guest today.
Yes, sir.
Brendan Taylor.
Yes, sir.
With True School Sports.
True School Sports.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All the way from
Miami, Florida, South Florida.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Great to be here.
What you doing here, man?
I'm in Vegas right now, just going to the gym, checking out the boxing scene. I'm actually supposed to be going to Japan on the 25th. I was supposed to go for Inoue Fulton. That obviously got postponed, but I couldn't rebook my flight, so I'm gonna go there anyway.
You ain't gotta explain.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Real quick, because we gotta get to our guest and then let him get up out of here.
Yes, sir.
And we'll try to pace this show as best we can, but I'm late. I'm 30 minutes late. Vegas traffic, it is what it is. I'm not gonna get into all that. I don't have to explain myself.
There you go.
That's compliments of Ant Bernal. He always would tell me, you don't have to explain yourself. Ant with two T's is not in the building today. But listen, real quick, everyone can see your stuff on YouTube, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you only on YouTube?
I mean, most of my stuff's on YouTube. I'm on Instagram as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a kid from Dania on Instagram. I'll get it to you guys after.
Shout out your Instagram.
Just a kid from Dania. That's just a kid and then DANIA. Like
DANIA.
Yeah.
Dania.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I'm from in South Florida.
Just a kid from Dania.
That's it, man.
All right.
Making it happen.
We got another kid.
Yes, sir.
A young champion. I'm excited for you, man. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I don't think anyone expected this, you know? I don't even remember what I even said when I previewed the fight, but at this point you were just looked at as another name.
Yeah, just food.
And that name that I'm talking about is the new 154-pound super welterweight interim WBC champion, Brian Mendoza.
La Bala.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Blah, blah. How do you feel, boss?
I feel like a world champion, man. I feel like I'm top of the world right now. It's insane. It's a surreal feeling, you know? Yeah. Like you said, most people didn't believe it. I won't say nobody because I had a small circle of my people close to me that did believe in me. And I did this for them, you know? They believed in me and I had to prove them right more than anybody else.
When you say you feel like a champion, what does that feel?
It's a crazy feeling. It's still sinking in, but it's just knowing, all the suffering and sacrifices that you go through in camps and just training, just the life of a boxer, of a fighter. Just being able to make it through all those struggles and everything and come back, it's had some setbacks and everything, but just to know, it was all worth it. I ran into Fernando Vargas, Sr. in the gym actually, and during this training camp, and I told him I was fighting and everything. He's like, hey man, like, just, keep dedicating your all to this because when they raise your hand and they wrap that belt around, like that feeling is like no other. And he was right. I can't describe it. It's an insane feeling when it makes everything worth it in that moment.
I won the WBC, a very surreal moment. In the moment, I remember feeling like I had the same feeling as when my firstborn was being born. Like in the moment of seeing him, seeing his face and the cry and all that kind of stuff. Exact same when I won the WBC title. So I can only imagine, but I get a closer glimpse of it than most people. But I always like to ask a fighter, what do they feel like after winning the championship title? Because it's something that you always kind of think about and imagine. And then you see your trail and how to get there. And then in your case, 2 losses and you're at the bottom of cards and you have no clue when that moment is going to come. And then it comes just on the other night. And I know we'll get into that just a little bit, but talk to me real quick about the preparation to camp. Now I'll let my man jump in, but you're going up against 6'1", Sebastian Fundora.
6'6".
Yeah.
Lord.
He's like a small forward, man.
Why am I tripping? 6'6". Golly, you're going up against 6'6". I must be getting his height mixed up with somebody else on the card, one of the cards. We had a lot of boxing on Saturday.
I don't blame you.
And I'm gonna talk to you about that in just a minute. But how was the preparation of going up against a 6'6" guy? And have you ever fought against 6'6"?
Obviously not a 6'6", but we had been in there with tall guys, and it's one of those things when you feel like the universe is aligning I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that's a big hotspot for UFC fighters, for MMA fighters in general, but tons of UFC fighters like John Jones still trains out there and everything. And even as an amateur, I used to help Tim Means. He's a vet in the UFC. He's a 6'2"-ish, I think, southpaw that fights inside with, ranging and everything.
Yeah.
So I felt like the universe has been preparing me for this since the amateurs. I used to help him for those 5-minute rounds and stuff. And then just over the years, but the preparation for this camp, even as soon as they mentioned it was a possibility, I went over to Top Rank and I got some work with some cruiserweights. And I was pushing them back.
Because of the height, right?
I need the height, yeah. I couldn't get a skinny dude at that weight, at first. It was like, I need the height, I need the look. I'm trying to get as similar as I can.
Yeah.
And then later in camp, so for the whole month, the fight was April 8th, but the whole month of March, I actually brought in Mike Fox.
Yeah.
And
That's
he's a
good,
6'4" welterweight southpaw. And he has a lot of the, similar punch selection and stuff. But the thing with him was that I'm not a believer in bringing punching bags to beat up on. I want difficult training. I want hard training because my confidence comes from preparation.
Yeah.
I want to know I suffered in camp. I really had to sacrifice and everything. And we brought in Mike Fox, and that was some hard sparring because he's a 6'4" southpaw that knows how to use his range. So he wasn't exactly like as come forward as Fundora, but I kept telling myself all through camp, like, I'm landing certain shots I want to land. I just have to have faith, like these are the shots I want to land. That's what I'm working on. And I started landing them a little more and more throughout camp with Mike. And I was like, if I can catch him with it, these are going to be bombs on fight night.
Brian, I've had a kind of like a unique vantage point with your career because, I've come in and out of Vegas over the last couple of years, and you went on a swing bout. Like, so not so long ago, you were on a swing bout. They put you on after the main event where almost nobody sees you. So how do you stay positive when you're at that point in your career? Because as you know, being in boxing, this sport can make you very cynical about, the fortunes of your career. So how do you stay positive?
It's just faith. Just tons of faith in myself and my team and everything. And I've always known, the talent was there. I've always had this image of Brian, in my head that what I could be, what I could do. And then just finally, building the right team around me. I got Ismael Salas that he guides me, like obviously throughout my education and boxing and stuff. And I added strength and conditioning coach Tony Brady. I've been with him like nonstop I'd say for like maybe 2 years now, since the Barrios Thurman fight, because I was Barrios' sparring partner for the Thurman fight. And ever since then, me and him got to work basically nonstop. He even moved out here to Vegas now. And that's given me the gas tank to execute my boxing knowledge. So they went hand in hand. And it was just crazy, but it's faith more than anything. And then Shawn knows you got to be a little crazy to believe that out of the whole world, you can really pull this one thing off. Yeah. So it was a mix of faith, just craziness, just
and the perfect punch against a 6'6" southpaw even is an overhand right, and that's the punch that you ultimately ended up landing, which kind of set everything up.
Right.
And a hell of a follow through with the I think it was a right hand and left hook that
it was left hook first.
Oh, it was the left hook.
Yeah.
But with this height, it was basically a left overhand.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, thank you.
I got
some of that. Yeah, give me some of that. Yeah. But the again, probably the perfect punch to throw, and you landed it in like perfectly.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that punch, that moment.
Like I said before the fight, that people are gonna find out I'm not just a strong fighter. You can look at that fight, and even just on that little highlight clip, you can see 3 different things I set up to get that shot. And everybody knows what shot hurts you is the one you don't see. There's even pictures of me when I let the hook go. He's so tall and at an angle, it was like behind his shoulder almost.
Wow.
As it's lifting. So he didn't see that shot till it was right next to his chin, basically. So that's already too late.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was the
seeing
setup.
it in my head now. It was a hook. Yeah, I was seeing it in my head.
Yeah. But yeah, you see like that was the same thing. He didn't see it till too late anyway. It's just the angle of the punch, the setup, the force behind it, the repetition. We trained that punch over and over and over. And it finally came out in the right timing.
One more for me, Dallas. Did you know when that punch landed, did you know it was a wrap?
No, because we weren't looking for one shot. So my mentality in this fight, go ahead and give away early rounds. Not really necessarily give away, but my plan was to chop the tree.
Yeah.
We're chopping the tree. I'm not worried about a one shot, just swing away. And so even when I knocked him out, I put heat on that shot. Salas literally told me, all right, we're going into the second half. And then he told me, start putting a little more heat on these shots. And literally that round is when it happened.
Yeah.
But it was never one shot. So even when I landed that shirt, I put some heat on it. That was a real shot, but it was like you even saw I backed out after, and then I saw he kind of froze halfway. And that's when that killer instinct took over.
Boom, boom.
I had to jump on it.
I was like, wow, like that was just, the follow-up was amazing. One more, then I got you. Because I know you had to have seen him. You saw him sit up. Like, when you saw him sit up, you felt like he was going to get up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could see the heart, you know, like even when Lubin caught him and hurt him with several shots and he took that knee, you know, he came back and you saw he came back in the fight. So I was like, in my head, I always picture the best possible form that they could come in, the opponent. Absolutely. I'm expecting the hardest puncher, the fastest guys, the smart. I'm expecting that way when you get in there, it can only be easier than what I've expected in my head. You know, I'm expecting like Mike Tyson in there every time. Yeah. And so, but you could see his heart said, get up. That's why he leaned up right away. Like the Undertaker, like he leaned up. I was like, nah, this dude's getting up. Yeah. But the body wasn't responding. You know, the heart can say one thing, but the body just wasn't there. And that's what you saw, that there's no way his legs could carry that.
In those earlier rounds, you were like really slick. I've seen you spar a couple of times. I don't remember you being that slick. Is that something that you kind of improved on recently? Oh,
big time. Yeah. Since I came out here, you know, I'm surrounded by so many Cubans and everything. Like it starts to take effect on you. But my thing over these last few years, like in previous fights, I would try to be too slick. And that's not who I am either. It's all about finding who you are, finding the right balance. And then you saw in this fight, like I was slick, but it was using a lot of movement and I wasn't trying to be like running in circles the whole night. So then we had to like fine tune it a little. You saw the rounds where I went from slick to staying there too much. And then I felt like finally like the end of the sixth maybe and starting the seventh, even though it was only 30 seconds in, but I feel like I lock into my rhythm. And you saw that against the fight before that against Rosario. Yep. I had a little flow going right before I knocked him out. It takes me like, you know, I warm up, there's those feel out rounds, and then there's that moment where I really click and it's my true rhythm, but it's my rhythm. I'm not a Cuban with 400 amateur fights. I'm not just a tank that comes forward, tries to roll people over. There's like, it's like almost like a slick tank, you know, if you want to call it that, but I got to be me. And that's what took me a little while to really learn.
Listen, last thing for you, sometimes something hits me, like when I'm watching fights or I'm listening to music, whatever the case may be, something will hit me and I'm like, motivation for the week. When you knocked him out and then you did your post-fight interview, like right there in the ring, and then it hit me. Purpose, purpose drives energy. And because I heard you say, you know, nobody would ever thought that someone who would be fighting swing bouts at the end of the night where there's nobody in the stadium would end up right here, right now. And as you were saying, once you said that, that's when that came to me. It's a purpose drives energy, you know, and I want you to kind of just talk about how you had the energy to be in that moment, even though you had 2 losses and people tell you lose one time and you'll never make it. You're at the end of the night when everybody's leaving and I know you're like, wait, please stay and watch me. How do you have what the purpose and your energy to come to the ring and do what you did on fight night? What was your purpose that drove your energy?
My purpose, it's the main purpose. My why was to do it for my family. The people that believed in me, like I said, it was a small circle of people that believed, and this was for them. You know, I said there was a lot of haters, a lot of doubters and this and that, but this isn't for them. I don't need to give them my energy. Like there's people that love me. Like why would I not? You know, I dedicate everything for them. When I'm in camp and I want to quit the workout or the training or the whatever, I think of my family. So it's for them, you know, and it's just that faith. It's like I have a dream and I see it in my head. I don't care what it takes. So like I don't go out, you know, I don't party. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to sacrifice my whole life. I want to experience this dream. What so many few, you know, they get to hold, you know, like this green and gold belt. Like I want to experience things like that, you know, like, and I even kept listening to Caleb Plant's speech, you know, about setting out to live an unbelievable life. Yeah. Because a lot of people, you know, they go day to day, like they just go through the motions, but I don't want to do that. Ever since I was little, I told my mom, like, we're going to be rich, you know, we're going to make it, we're going to live life, you know. Yeah. I didn't know what I was talking about. I was playing with little toy trucks, Tonka trucks. Like,
Yeah.
It was always in my head. Something was always in my head. And when I found boxing, I found that avenue. So I would like, and now I've even kind of made like my own Rocky story. Like I had those comebacks, and like you said, boxing is unforgiving.
Yeah.
They say, oh, you took a loss. Oh, you took 2 losses. Oh, like get out of here.
Yeah.
But I just never quit. I said literally always, like even after the losses, a week later, I'm back in the gym. I'm grinding. How can I fix this? Don't let a setback tell you it's over. Nobody can tell you it's over. And now I'm living proof for that, because I wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to be here 5 steps ago, and I just keep doing it.
Yeah.
I even kept telling my team, I was like, yo, is this real life? Like this really happened. I'm actually here, because I'm not trying to play it cool, man. Like I wasn't supposed to be here, and we're really here. So I'm soaking it all in.
I know how that feels. I'm going to put a cap on the motivation. I'm going to let you go ahead with your last one, but that's my motivation for today. You have a lot of people who don't have they feel like they don't have a reason to get up, or they're just going through the motions of life. I got nothing else. I'm just going to work, and then I'm going to go home from work, and they live a sad, uncomfortable, depressing life. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm simply saying, find your purpose, find your why, keep your eyes on your why, and you'll always have energy to do what it is you need to do. But go ahead.
Hey.
I remember after you beat Jason Rosario, I saw this clip and you were like begging for a fight. You were like, please give me a fight, please. I don't know if you remember doing that interview,
Yeah.
whoever you did it with. But would you say you're a desperate fighter? Because now you got the WBC interim title. Is your desperation as a fighter making you more dangerous? You feel that?
My desperation to be great is what makes me dangerous. I'm never satisfied. Like even after I feel this unbelievable feeling, I got the title, I'm already like, okay, what's next? It's like, like an adrenaline junkie. It's like a greatness junkie. Like, Shawn knows, like you go through it, you hit what might be your pinnacle, but then it's like, I want more.
There's something else.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
I thought this was supposed to feel like the end of it, and it's
exactly.
not. Yeah.
And you're looking at somebody that's not complacent. I don't care that. I kept telling people too, because a big thing is when people get into a title fight, you see a lot of people happy to be there. Like, oh, I made it this far. Yay. I was never happy to make it this far. The dream was to get the title, not to fight for the title. I was never, caught up in the moment like, wow, look at this, my name's on. No, I need the victory is what the dream was, not just making it this far. I have goals I need to accomplish and stuff like that. That's what makes me dangerous, is my hunger day in, day out. Like I found my why. I found what I'm willing to die for. So what I'm willing to live for is just this constant struggle and this sacrifice and suffering, because the suffering is what made me who I am today, like in training camps and life and, whatever, and just making it through that.
You make it sound, fighter is miserable.
I mean, a good 80-20, you know how those training camps are. And then I don't take time off. Like, if anything, I'll drive out to LA for the weekend and just go touch the beach, come back home. But I'm a real gym rat.
Yeah.
So you know how that is.
That's true.
It's that part.
Yeah.
I call Brian the hardest working fighter at the Salas gym, because every time I go there, he's there. He's never not there.
Yeah.
I'm the annoying guy that you walk in, oh, there's Brian, he's still here. Like, I'm that annoying guy, but I enjoy it. It's that part's not where the bad side is, because I enjoy my work.
Yeah.
I got to remember who gets to go to work here. This is my office, man. Like, I got to be grateful. So I don't want to be too dark on it. Like, oh, suffering. But
so hey, listen, I retired I retired at 34, man. I was miserable for 30 years. Congratulations, big dog.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, man. And in your presence, man, with you guys, it's an honor, man. Thank you.
Next time we have you come through, watch you some fights over the weekend, because we had a lot of fights this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Been watching some fights, and you come in here and hang out with us and chop it up.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. I would love that.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that.
Brian.
Can't wait to see what's next.
Yes, sir. Big things, man. Big things coming.
Super, super happy for that young man, Brian Mendoza. Again, just kind of coming out of nowhere, and that is the underdog story. And I mean, he laid it down. It couldn't have been no better. I do want to kind of we'll go all the way back, but last thing, I think maybe should we just cover the fight,
Brian?
Because he just
well, I'll say this, Shawn. A lot of people call it a massive upset. I actually didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
I actually remember doing a video about it on my channel and saying I'm putting Sebastian Fundora on upset alert.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen the improvements of Brian going to the Salas gym and seeing him in these fights. And I saw a guy that was like seriously determined. And I knew Fundora, even though he was big, he never really mastered how to use that long, lanky frame of his. So he was going to be there to be hit at some point in the fight. And Brian is definitely strong enough to hurt him. So I gave him a good chance.
Yeah. I mean, and you had the view that most people don't have, which is why a lot of times they're like, no, there's no way. But you see a guy work, you see a guy put in the work, and you see everything that the guy's doing to get there. And you're like, well, no, this kid's got a shot. For me, obviously seeing him against
Rosario,
kind of put me on notice to who he was. I wasn't surprised to see him move around the ring and box the way that he was boxing. I'm not saying he was outboxing Fundora, but he was boxing relatively well, especially against a tall, rangy guy like Fundora. And it was kind of like he just was waiting his time. And as Silas said, eventually they said, hey, we're gonna put some more pop on these shots, some more power on these shots. And the best thing that could have happened did. I thought that this was a fight that he could win, but again, you take a look at the bulk of work that Sebastian has put in. And this was not a fight that was fitting for him to stop. This was not that fight that he's supposed to hit that brick wall. You know, it's Charlo is supposed to be the brick wall. You know what I mean? And then this was supposed to be the fight to give people the impression that he could bust through the brick wall.
Well, that's why you got to win the fight in front of you. You never overlook an opponent.
No, I'm not saying it. Well,
I'm just saying like you have to actually go in there and do your job. You can't. You gotta make sure you can't get to Charlo if you don't beat Brian Mendoza.
I mean, it's hard when people are talking, and if they're not feeding you the right things about this 22-2 guy, then or 21-2 guy, then you don't really know how to prepare for a 21-2 guy. The only thing you're knowing is, you know, he's got 2 losses and he's just gonna come in here and follow the script. You know what happens when he doesn't follow the script.
And I'm sure the reporters, the whole fight week, all they're asking him about is Charlo and Tim Tszyu and the other names. You know, I'll ask you this, Shawn, being a fighter, how do you deal with when you have a fighter, like, for example, like I know in your career, you fought a guy like Adrian Granados, right? Who wasn't an elite welterweight. How do you block out when the media is constantly feeding you questions about other fighters and still focus on the fight in front of you?
I think it starts in the camp. You have to have a camp who's strong and focused, has that tunnel vision on what we're doing now. We all know the outside noise, but it's up to the camp to keep that fighter away from the outside noise. You know, and I really don't think that it was outside noise that was a determining factor in terms of how Fundora performed the other night. I think Brian has a lot of power, and that left hook is a vicious punch to throw for someone who's coming down. He came down into the shot, you know. And he was also throwing, I think he was throwing a hook of his own, you know. So it just was like perfect timing.
He was throwing a lot of uppercuts from way too far out too, so that was leaving him.
That
was it uppercut? Yes. It was uppercut. Okay.
Yes, he was going for an uppercut.
And then that opened him right up. The size.
The other thing that kind of blew my mind was I saw Fundora sit up right around maybe 2 or 3. I mean, he sat up and it was like, and then he just stayed there, and I was like, wow. And it's exactly, because I couldn't figure it out. It's exactly what Brian just said. His heart responded, but physically, his body did not respond.
Just switched off.
Yeah. So it's like that, and that's how it happens when certain punches land. It's like that snap of the finger. It's like you're gone. I don't know about other people, but for me, it was like gone, right back. I mean, just like that, you know? And so it looked like the same thing for Fundora. Even more interesting, the hook had him out. Then 2 more punches, like practically put him out. He hits his head once he hits the canvas. Hitting the canvas might even woke him up.
That's a concussion, you know?
Yeah. So that might even woke him up at that point, you know? So I was just like, wow, like he's ready to get up, but he's not getting up, you know? And so, I mean, if anything, that's just a testament to what can happen to you in one night, you know, if you're on the wrong side of the right punch. And then again, for Brian Mendoza, just speak to his power, you know? Everybody talks about Charlo's power. You can't deny that man's power. But we got another man at 154 with some power. You know what I mean?
And he's still hungry. He's not complacent, as he was saying.
And he's still hungry. My man said, "I'm a gym rat. Couldn't wait to leave."
I've seen it. So he's always there. He's never not at Salas.
Yeah. And a lot of times, man, that's why I always say it's like it's hard to beat love. You know, so you can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have that determination derives from love. You know what I mean? If you don't love what you're doing, the guy that loves it and is willing to give that extra bit and training and that extra bit and film study and nutrition and all those kinds of things, you may have the attributes to beat this guy. But if that guy has the determination, aka the love,
it's all gonna add up.
It's gonna add up. Yep. It's gonna add up. So what you think? I thought that the card overall was decent. Good card. Good card cool. Overall. Yeah.
Brandon Lee had a tough fight.
Yeah.
Pedro Campa.
Yeah.
You know, Pedro, I mean, a lot of people didn't want to give Teo credit for beating Pedro, which I get, but like, I think they got to put a little more respect on Teo now because he made Brandon Lee really have to earn that victory.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pedro.
Yeah, I'm saying, Pedro had to, Pedro made Brandon work for that victory and he was going to the body a lot. I mean, Brandon was really uncomfortable. And I think Brandon, you know, it's crazy because he got 28, 29 fights, something like that.
And I don't know his age, but he's like, it's very lopsided.
Yeah. So like he's going to have a tough road to becoming champion because that division, you know, once you get to like 10, 15, you know, in the rankings, there's nowhere to run. Yeah. You got, you know, guys like even the guy that nobody talks about, that Uzbek fighter, Ergashev. I don't know if you know Ergashev. He's fought on Showbox a bunch of times. He was Sugar Hill down in Florida.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, hard.
We saw him out here.
Yeah, a guy like that's in the ring. You have to fight a guy like that at some point. Yeah. You know? Like 140 doesn't have maybe the A-level talents of like 35 or 47, but it's very deep. Yeah. You got a lot of guys B+, you know, at 9, 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon Lee, by the way, is 23 years old.
22.
He's 22?
23.
23 with, is he 27?
28, no.
28, no.
Okay,
no.
Yeah, so.
At 23 years old, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was saying last week about Abdullah.
Mason.
Yeah. Yeah, where he's 18 years old, you have to be careful how you move him because even at 22, he may look up and be, I don't know.
20, 25 or no, 21 of those, 22.
I don't know.
Well, Top Rank's boxing him like every 2 or 3 months. So,
yeah.
You know.
And at some point, you're going to have to slow him down. You definitely want to make sure that the young man is learning, growing, and things like that. And that's before you can't, the thing that you can't push, but the button you can't push is nature.
Yeah.
So even though he's growing and he's getting better, you can't push the nature of him becoming a physical man. You know what I mean? So again, like no shade on him at all, but just be careful at how you move an 18-year-old man because once he becomes 23, there's no turning back. He's 22 with 28 fights. There's no turning back now.
23.
You know what I mean?
I know they had the same
23 with 28 fights.
I know they had the same manager at one point, like Jerron Ennis and Brandon Lee. They both had Cameron Duncan. So like their careers are kind of similar in that regard to where they have so many fights, but you're kind of wondering like, okay, when are they going to really get that real step up to show the world where they're really at in their divisions?
Yeah. Another kid who doesn't really have an identity, so to speak. He's kind of in and out. He's very fast. Looks to be strong.
Come on, Ennis?
No, Lee. Yeah. Works with, has a super high work rate. But then through the course of 4 rounds, if that high work rate doesn't work, then what do you do? And it was like, there were times where he was playing during the fight and it's like, I'm not knocking the playing, but like, let's get to the work. Let's get the job done and let's have fun afterwards, you know? And again, that's a part of the maturity process because a lot of guys, and I know this from experience, if what you do well isn't working by the halfway point of the fight and you know you got the fight won, then you're going to start to kind of veer off and do other things that you wouldn't typically do. If you're fighting against a guy who's really competing with you, as Campa was, then you're gonna keep your eyes on what you need to be doing and staying focused, you know. But I think it was just a part of his maturity where he started to kind of lay back and play and, you know, different little antics and things like that. I just want him to be more consistent and find his identity in the ring. Am I a puncher? Am I just going to be aggressive through the course of a 10, 12 round fight? You know, find your identity.
Yeah, because I think you put it great when you said he's in between 2 styles. I think it was like in the latter part of the fight, he decided to like start sitting down on the shots, and he actually got Campa's respect with the power punches he was sitting down on. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if he's got to bring somebody new into camp or what he's got to do, but he needs to find his style very, very quickly.
I had a lot of styles, but what my dad did with me was he's like, we're not trying to be good at a whole bunch of different stuff. We're trying to be very good at some specific things. Yeah. And we're trying to be great at the basics. Because at the end of it all, when you're hurt, or at the end of it all, when you're tired, you still have to be able to throw a straight jab. You still have to be able to protect yourself. You know what I mean? So my dad basically worked around the basics. This was the basics every single day. And then little things around the basics that we knew we could go to that would either keep us safe or would lead us to the victory and different things like that. And again, he's got to find his identity. Am I a counterpuncher? Am I gonna brawl?
A slugger, you know?
Yeah, he got into the slug fest a couple of times and the brawl fest a couple. Pick your point. Pick your spots. It's okay to brawl. If you want to be a boxer / brawler, pick that point when you want to brawl. Don't allow that guy to determine you brawling, or don't let a moment happen and you're like, oh, I got to get it back. You know, so again, those are things that you learn and you grow and you mature into. And the thing that can't happen is he cannot slow down his growth and maturity process. At 23,
with 28 fights.
28 fights for the umpteenth time. There's no telling what's. Let's move on. Nunez and Olivo. Who'd you think won that fight? You thought Nunez won?
Yeah.
I thought it was close. I saw a lot of what's the word? There was some controversy around it. But I thought Nunez won that fight too.
Yes, like Dominican fighter.
Yeah.
You know, moves around a lot.
Yeah.
Featherweight division getting pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know, got a lot of guys at the top.
Yeah.
We'll see. You know, the champions at 126 are all like pressure fighters.
Yeah.
You know, so to win a world title in this weight class, you're gonna have to know how to deal with that for 12 rounds.
Yeah. Well, and both those guys were slugging. I mean, it was a good fight. A little underwhelming for me. I think maybe it was the names. Maybe because I wasn't that familiar with the guys.
And there was a lot of boxing on.
Yeah, and there was a lot of boxing.
Did you have like 3 TVs on at the same time, or did you try to follow all
I
of
had a TV
them?
on upstairs, TV on downstairs, and I had it on my phone.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. I'm glad you said that, because if you can't tell, I am suddenly fatigued.
Yeah.
From all the boxing that I watched.
And the traffic,
weekend.
the Vegas traffic too.
Listen, was Saturday was that like a Christmas present for you? All the boxing going on?
Normally it would be, but no, not Saturday, no.
Because it just wasn't, the fights were a little underwhelming.
It's actually, if you factor in, I don't know if you saw the Japanese card like 3 a.m. I watched. That's the main card I wanted to watch, the Kenshiro fight. So like I woke up for it. So I watched like 4 boxing cards that day, and I was tired.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to see a computer.
But you don't mind a full day of boxing?
No, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough because it takes you a while to get caught up.
Don't forget it, man. I was miserable for 30 years. So I can't get away from this sport, man.
Hey, it's like a drug. It's like once it gets in your DNA, you can't get it out.
I don't know, man. For me, it was just like, all right, what's next? All right, what's next? I was happy to see the ESPN Plus card that led into the ESPN card. Let's go to that real quick.
Okay.
I know we got to keep it moving. Sorry, this is going to be kind of a fast episode, but I was late getting to the studio today, so we got to keep it pushing. Kelvin Davis, he fought Nelson Morales. You like Kelvin?
Kelvin's good. I've seen him fight a couple times.
Saturday night, he wasn't like,
I didn't see him on Saturday night because I was watching, I think, Showtime.
He wasn't crazy impressive to me on Saturday night. I've seen some really good fights of him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that one of his fights, and I saw him like in 2 other, and I was like, yeah, this kid's down.
Yeah, I've seen him be up and down. Like I've seen him, I believe he fought on the Canelo Saunders card early in his career. He didn't look good in that fight. Then I've seen other fights, like he had a fight on Pro Box. I don't even know Pro Box. They got a little, it's this new,
down in Florida, right?
Down in Florida, in Plant City. I seen him there. He looked greght. He was putting his combinations together. So I think it's kind of like, go back to Brandon Lee. He's got to really know his identity and stick to it in the ring.
I don't really get that from Kelvin.
What I mean,
he doesn't.
What I'm trying to say in so many words is like impose himself on the fight.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you know, some fighters, a guy can be really talented and be good at what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he kind of just lets the rounds and the moments pass him by. He doesn't necessarily, say this is how I fight and this is how the fight's gonna go. He kind of just waits to see what the other guy's gonna do.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could fight a guy who's not as good as you, and the fight becomes harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
So.
That could have been the case yesterday or Saturday with Kelvin. But in fights previous, I felt like he was in control. You're right. Like the other night, it's Monday, by the way, if you're wondering. the other night when he fought, I felt like he fought a little closer than I would have liked him to fight.
So he was giving up his size?
He wasn't really giving up his size. He just was fighting on the inside and fighting a little closer than I would like to see him fight. And maybe he just kind of fought down to the competition.
It happens too.
Yeah. It wasn't a really eventful, spectacular performance I've seen from him before.
Well, they have that phrase in boxing, you can win now and look good later, so I'm sure that's one of those for him.
Bruce Carrington, he showed back up. Shushu's the man.
I love Shushu.
Yeah. Was that a second round knockout, I think?
Mm-hmm.
First, yeah.
Yep.
Her dude in the first round and just kind of kept it going from there. A very structured young man that knows what he's doing and loves what he's doing.
Very disciplined.
Extremely disciplined. I think I probably love that the most about him. And you know me, I'm big on character. You know what I mean? And I like to say who you are outside the ring is who you are in the ring. You know, so it's kind of it definitely, yes, favoritism all the way across the board.
He doesn't have an ego either. Like Bruce, when you talk to him, like there's no ego. I know a lot of times with Instagram things like that.
He's very New York.
Yeah.
So, but you're right, because there is no ego. So he will speak his mind. He'll say what he believes. But if you come to him with the wrong question or you struck him the wrong way, he gonna get real New York on you and come back at you. But for the most part, he's mellow tone and he just here to do his job. And I like that about him.
I got high hopes for him as maybe the next great New York fighter. New York's been kind of struggling for a top fighter for a little bit of time. A guy that really broke at the top level, I remember when I saw him fight on the Better BF Smith card, because I went to that fight last year, and he got like a crazy ovation. Like they really love him in Brooklyn. Yeah. So I'm hoping he keeps it going and he could be someone that they top rank and eventually turn into a main event fighter.
The good thing about Shushu, and then we'll move forward, but he was vowing to get to the Olympics. And it was like they did everything right for him. So it was like he was getting the pub back home in New York. And it was like he's going off to these tournaments and things like that. And he was performing extremely well, winning and things like that. When you go home, it's hard to get the love in your home.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to get people to get around you. New York happens to be one of those states, one of those cities, Brooklyn, New York City, that they love boxing.
Strong boxing tradition.
So they're always looking to see who's next. You know what I mean? So the good part about him is even though he didn't make it to the Olympics, he still got the pub and the love and the advertising, the promoting that it takes for him to be at this young level in his career and still have fans and love when he goes home to fight.
What he's got going for him too is I think he's the kind of fighter that the boxing purists can appreciate and that the casual fans can gravitate to as well with his style.
Yeah.
Because he gets knockouts, he's fast.
Yeah. I like him. Troy Isley back. Competitive fight. You didn't see that, right?
No, I was watching.
Competitive fight. And I know that on the telecast, they were kind of questioning his power a little bit. And kind of the only thing I wanted to say about that is, he's got to get more physically fit and
you were criticizing his power?
And gain more strength. I mean, he was hitting this dude with some clean shots.
I don't think that's a fair criticism. Was it an 8-rounder?
6 round, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fair criticism of him because he's been fighting a lot of experienced, durable guys. Like he fought Dante Stubbs. He fought Quincy Lavalas. These are guys that are not world-level fighters, but these guys know how to maneuver around the ring.
Yeah.
And Troy is the kind of fighter and puncher who's an accumulation puncher. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that breaks you down in later rounds. So if he's fighting these kind of guys in 6 or 8 rounders, more times than not, he probably won't get the stoppage. But he's the kind of fighter that when he steps up to 10 and 12s, he's gonna
break some guys down.
A real serious threat.
It was
along the way. What I would encourage
8 rounds
for Troy. Sorry,
it was an 8 round.
It was an
8 rounder.
Yeah, the thing that I would encourage for Troy moving forward beyond gaining strength, which will help his power, is to create that recipe. Start working on that recipe to break guys down. Mm-hmm. My dad would always say, "Hey, we're exclusive to the body this round," because he knew we'll get the head eventually. Let's get to the body to break him down. So he's gonna have to create a recipe for him. I'm not really big on numbers in terms of how many of your punches were to the head and to the body, but I think maybe setting things up to get to the body more, to break guys down, hitting them shoulders, hitting them arms a little bit more, And he'll get that along the way, but I do know that once or twice, and then I started looking at it for myself. I was like, well, that was a clean hook. And I mean, that guy's head turned and came right back. You know what I mean? So
he's doing the right thing. That's the important thing. He's a really good steady fighter. But if you're looking for like the Shoo Carrington type of knockouts from him, you're not gonna get them.
Yeah.
He's a break guys down in the later rounds.
Yeah. I like this kid. It was I don't want to mess this up. I don't know where this kid was from. Damian. Knyba. No.
Is he a heavyweight by any chance?
No. Yeah. No, he is heavyweight.
I've seen his name. Like I've seen when Top Rank had like they put the names of all the guys in the stable from the heavyweight. I don't know a lot about him.
Yeah. Good fighter. Good boxer.
How tall is he? You know?
Well, the thing that I wrote down is 86.
Oh, that's long. That's long.
He's 6'7".
6'7". A heavyweight. Young. What's his record?
He's 11-0, 7 KOs.
Oh, he's early in his career.
Early, yeah.
And Top Rank has a lot of heavyweights.
They put him in the ring with that knucklehead. That knucklehead, Curtis Harper.
Oh, him, the one that walked out the ring.
That knucklehead. That dude's a head case. He does not belong in the boxing ring.
He actually got it.
I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything like that, but he actually what?
He had a good win recently, a decent win for him. Like he fought a heavyweight named Christian Dunn, who was like 9 or 10-0.
Okay.
Been in like camps with Joshua and Fury. It was on one of those pro boxers.
Did you see the fight?
Damian on this fight?
No. I'm sorry. Did you see the fight that you're talking about?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did he do anything that was kind of like,
Nothing. Nah, he grinded it out. The other guy didn't really throw a lot of punches.
It seems like in the first 2 rounds when he fights, like it's always something like, idiotic that happens.
Yeah.
I think another fight, he like just straight up headbutt the dude or something like that.
Yeah, he's a head case.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he's a bit of a head case. And I just don't want to see him in the ring anymore.
I don't know.
Because it's like, it's kind of like a form of PTSD. You know what I mean? Like if you know that this guy is known for doing
crazy things and
these things that just shouldn't go on in the boxing ring. And they derive from nowhere. You know what I mean? It's not like he gets forearmed and then he's coming back with something. He's just out of nowhere doing like weird, crazy, dangerous things. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I don't even remember. I didn't even write it down what he did to this guy. But what did he do? Yeah, I didn't even write it down. He threw a punch. He threw a punch for a late hit. He got pointed for a late hit. Just why? No point.
Was he getting beat up? Like, no. That's
my point. Is it just comes out of nowhere, and we won't spend too much time on this, but it just comes out of nowhere. I don't like it. I just don't think he should. He belongs in the.
Yeah, stop giving him phone calls.
You gotta stop calling.
Yeah.
Because let's be realistic. What anyone who puts him in the ring does, promoters put him in the ring because they're using him up. So not only is I'm sure he has something outside of the ring that's unstable, but then you put him in the ring, now you're getting him hurt. You put him in the ring and now his health is at risk. And that's only in the long run, it's going to end up
tragic.
It's going to end something tragic is going to happen. That's my whole point. I'm looking out for the guy. You know what I mean? I'm looking out for the guy, you know? But I like this Damian Knyba kid. So he's something to look out for, a heavyweight, 86-inch reach, 6'7", 11-0, good boxer. And against somebody who's, formidable, he can put it together.
They can match him with,
Keyshawn Davis.
Yeah, there you go. I watched him.
I was like, this isn't. And Yigit is a hard fighter to that's a hard dance partner.
He's difficult.
It's a hard dance partner.
And he can take punishment. I remember watching him on Showbox years ago against Ivan Baranchyk, when Ivan Baranchyk was a prospect and beat the brakes. Ivan was beating him up, but he didn't go anywhere for a couple rounds.
So, I mean, it was, the dance partner situation right here where, you got a young lion and, he's just trying to eat. And it's like, just trying to hunt down, the zebra or whatever the case may be,
Keyshawn was real. I like his patience though.
Yeah,
because a lot of times we've been seeing it a lot in boxing. Like, we saw with Jerron Ennis and like Karen, we saw with him. A lot of guys will fight fighters like that and they'll go the distance and then they'll say, well, the guy didn't really come to fight. He ran around the ring and this, that, and the third, but he got the stoppage.
Yeah.
It's the important thing.
He was patient. I thought that he looked a little, it was just a dance partner. You know what I mean?
A little frustrated.
No, not frustrated. Just he was taking a round at a time. but it was like his punch was coming up just a little short. Looked like he wasn't firing off the way I'm used to him firing until
he found his range and
then he closed the show. And so, yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm writing things down. I'm like, you know, he stayed patient, he stayed calm and poised, you know, things like that. But it's like, Yigit, you got it. Whatever Keyshawn ain't doing on this one, I'm going to credit Yigit, you know? And then he gets to stop it.
I'm really intrigued to see how Tyrone's going to move him because...
8-rounder already.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking 4 or 5 fights, he's probably going to be world title level.
Yeah.
That was a 10
that's
round.
where he wants to be too. So
that was 10 rounds.
That was a 10-rounder, wasn't it?
Ninth round stoppage, yep.
Yeah, 10-round fight. Round stoppage. Mr. Hafey.
I heard him. Yeah.
You don't hear his heartbeat though, do you?
Loud and clear.
Jared Anderson.
Another good one.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you this. I like Jared Anderson. I think he's like one of the most offensively dynamic, you know, young fighters in boxing. But I want to see Top Rank like, I feel like a lot of the guys have been fighting, they're not going to win. Because like when I saw George Arias at the press conference, you know, he didn't really have the body language of somebody who really came to win. And he's like, if you look at the guy, he's undefeated, right? He's 18-0 with 7 knockouts. But the guys he fought, like Cassius Chaney and these kind of guys, they're like, you know, they're kind of on his level. So this is a massive step up.
This right here just had me. I was like, what the hell is happening? Dude did the chicken dance and was out. And it was like Jared like punched him into another dimension.
Yeah, oh my God, that hook. You see how
look right here.
That hook was super
punched
tight.
him into another dimension. And it seems like one of my only critiques on Jared is, well, I got 2 critiques to be honest with you, but one of them is I was like, okay, let's step up with the power. Let's see more power. I've been wanting to see more power fight by fight. He's been giving me more.
He's delivering.
He's delivering with the power. I want to see him create more defense beyond just.
Got to give him a guy who's going to give him something to defend. You know, Joe.
You got to work on it.
Yeah.
And that is his. It's like automatic. His reflexes take him out of the range. And my concern is he gets in the ring with someone who's just a little bit bigger than he's used to, a little bit stronger than he's used to, a little bit more durable than he's used to. And on that lean back, he gets caught with something that he's not expecting because it's worked 10 times out of 10. You know what I mean? And then here comes that 11th time.
You can't do that in heavyweight boxing. Like one shot could be fatal.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. So I want to see more defense, even if you don't have to do it, like do it just to work on it in fight situation, you know?
Yeah.
The slipping, the rolling, the pivoting, the stepping around. I see he can move his feet. I'm not saying he doesn't move his feet, but he leans back like that. It's an amateur thing, and a lot of guys get caught with it.
Do you feel like maybe his next opponent should be somebody in the top 15? Because he's in the top 15, right?
I'm ready to see him get to a world championship title.
Yeah.
So
like,
however he gets there.
I like to see him maybe fight like an Otto Wallin or Joseph Parker. Those guys are ranked, but they're not like up there, but they're ranked.
I think Ant might have been saying it the last time we talked about Jared Anderson.
Yeah, because Otto Wallin can't get, he's not really getting, he hasn't gotten no real big fight since the Fury fight, but he's been winning these little fights on the low. That'd be a good fight.
I love Jared Anderson. You probably,
Ohio.
Been here before.
Ohio.
No, beyond the Ohio.
Well, you just like his style.
Just the most promising heavyweight that I've seen in half of.
I want to pick your brain about this a lot. He's getting a lot of comparisons to Riddick Bowe. And I'm a big Riddick Bowe guy. I know you are too.
Yeah.
So to me, when people start saying that, I'm like, hold on a second. Like he's talented. Let's calm down.
Yeah.
You know?
No. That's where my head goes.
Yeah,
when I talk about Jared Anderson, I think he's one of the best American heavyweights since that era of heavyweight. Yeah, man. 100%.
The last American heavyweight hope right now.
I get hyped about it. Anyway, let's move forward. Shakur Stevenson.
Oh,
woo!
That's my guy. I love Shakur.
I don't know if this tweet got out, but I tweeted something. He is very possible. He is my number one. Most talented fighter.
Okay.
He could be my number one most talented.
He's special.
He's
got this thing about him where like he can transition from offense to defense so seamlessly, and you don't even know he's doing it in the ring.
He has had his way with with everyone they've put. And I just don't think it's...
And he's real filled out now. Those punches
You see that body?
Those are grown man punches now.
You see that body on Fight Night?
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I seen it. No, I seen it.
Yeah. He filled out on Fight Night.
Yeah.
I said, this kid at 135 looks good. As expected. And it's only going to get better.
It's the weight class where I think he finally becomes a star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because all these other guys, Tank, Devin, Ryan, they've been getting a lot of the headlines.
You gotta get him like I know that they had the hockey team. He fought at the hockey.
Devils.
Yeah. And they had the I think the owners that gifted him a table tennis custom.
He's big on that.
Yeah, custom table tennis table. But you got to do things like that. After that fight, he needs to be at basketball games. He needs to be at hockey games. He needs to be, courtside at everything, promoting him as a fighter, promoting him as a young man, because that's how you become a star. You cannot become a star just within the sport of boxing. Look at Tank Davis. Look at Ryan Garcia. Crossover appeal. Tyson Fury. Crossover appeal. Deontay Wilder. Crossover appeal. Floyd Mayweather. Crossover appeal.
Hopefully he's had like a change of heart, because I know years ago he said like in 2020 that he just he feels like if he just does the boxing, he's gonna be such a great fighter that he's gonna be a star anday.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's in him though.
That's a lot of fighters have the mindset of I just want to box.
Yeah,
it's cool. And I asked Tank this. I did an interview with Tank for not
DAZN?
For DAZN. Yeah, I almost said Triller. I did an interview with Tank for DAZN, and during the interview I said, "Yo, do you realize you're an entertainer?" He said, "No." I said, "Nobody's ever told you you're an entertainer?" He said, "No." Yeah. For your ticket prices, you're an entertainer.
You better be.
And the same thing, these fighters need to understand that yes, I'm a fighter, but at the end of the day, I'm getting paid to do what I do. I pay to go to the movies to be entertained. People are paying to come see me box because I'm entertaining them. And once you get that understanding that I'm an entertainer, then you start to kind of open up and do other things. It took a while for me to realize, why am I so tight and just waiting on the press conference and the weigh-in and just wearing a nice suit and hitting weight and can't wait to fight? You know what I mean? You could do a little bit more, and as long as people realize that, I'm still showing up and I'm fighting, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like Frank Bruno once said, boxing is showbiz of blood, pretty much.
Yeah. Something in my eye.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry. But yeah, no, he's a hell of an entertainer. And I think he just needs to get his mindset needs to go beyond, let me just box.
He has that down pat. Like,
he's got commercial appeal.
Got a great smile.
Got a great, the whole nine. So
Olympian, so medalist.
He's got everything he needs to move on and become a star beyond boxing, And I do think that should be a goal for some fighters, not every fighter, but for some fighters who are so gifted and naturally talented. A lot of the things that's required in boxing, you can afford to take a day to go to an event and show face and things like that. And I think it's time for him to start doing that.
Well, I know he said before, to me when I interviewed him, and even in other interviews, that he feels like he's the next Sugar Ray Leonard. You can't be the next Sugar Ray Leonard if you're not flashing that nice smile off in commercials. Like Sugar Ray Leonard had the 7-Up commercial where
I can't imagine that wasn't the plan for him to be the next Sugar Ray minus the gold medal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he should still carry that on beyond the medal that he received. Carry that medal with pride. We all saw it. We all know how that decision went. The list goes on. But man, he's got it. And I think that he's a fight or two away from
breaking out, really
being one of the guys in the sport across the board. Let's move on real quick. We'll do DAZN, and then I think we'll get out of here. We got a few more things beyond DAZN.
We do.
Yeah, keep me honest.
Right. 55 minutes, sir.
All right. Real quick, and we'll go through it real quick. Thomas Mattice, did you see him?
I saw a highlight.
Cleveland zone.
Yes. Gunner man.
Pulled out the stoppage in the last round. I had him losing the fight until the stoppage, and I thought that the stoppage was a little bit of a raw decision.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I thought the fighter was taking punches. He wasn't taking every punch that was being thrown. But to the point that I've said before on this show, fighters, when your foot is on that gas pedal, those referees will sense it and they will stop that fight. And that's exactly what happened in that fight. It was a very competitive fight along the way. Both guys did a lot of good things, and I'm happy to see Mattice move on and come a step further a step closer to his goals. You know,
it's good for him to win because I know like he's had some pretty tough, decisions to go against him and things like that.
Yeah, and been in a lot of tough fights. Too.
I know. I mean, he's like a showbox. He's like a showbox. I watch showbox a lot. I'm big on the showbox cards. He's like a showbox legend. I remember watching the fight.
Legend.
Rolando Chania many years ago. Tough fighter. That was a war. He's always in a war. It seems
Yeah.
That's actually one that kind of worries me. Like, what's going to be his shelf life in boxing? Because every fight can't be a war.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the road. Everybody's road is different. You know what I mean? Everybody talks about me fighting everybody. It's just, I got the luck of the draw, man. They put them all in front of me.
Yeah, but even with you, at some point you realize, okay, I gotta, work on the other things so I can still be at a top level. Like with Uga, you started boxing more.
Yeah. Raymond Ford and Jesse Magdalene.
Raymond Ford, he's underwhelmed in some of these fights against these pressure fighters like Aaron Perez and Vasquez. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he went in there and looked good against former world champion, got 2 knockdowns.
Entertain me, man. Entertain me. He's sharp.
Yeah.
He's really good. But it's like, there's something he's not doing.
You feel like there's something missing?
I don't know, man. At the end of the day, he just entertained me. There's something you're not doing. And I find myself trying to figure out what round this is and how much longer this fight's going to be.
Well, I'll stay at Ford. I know.
And this is like the second fight in a row.
Yeah.
Maybe not the second fight. Second fight.
Sometimes with Ford, like I know when I watch him fight sometimes, I know like he'll be winning some of these fights easily.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Raymond, just press a little more.
Yeah.
Get him out of there.
Yeah, it's like, because you can't call on a fighter to do something that he doesn't do.
Yeah.
Or that he's not capable of. You know what I mean?
He's strong. He's strong and he can be explosive. So
but he's not one of these kind of fighters coming at you and throwing, 40, 50, 60 punches, you know? He's just not that kind of guy. But what else can he do, like, to turn it on and entertain me?
Not 2 knockdowns in the fights. I would just say maybe
body shot. One was a body shot. Maybe they both were.
I've been both body shots, but
one of them was overhand left.
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess just keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
As long as you
me, and you'll get there. And when that time comes, you'll be entertaining.
No, maybe just when they I know Magdaleno was a former world champion, but he's seen better days.
Yeah.
So maybe when they step it up, and he's not fighting because his thing is these pressure fighters. That's what's really been getting to him for. He's a guy that likes to be slick and look a cutie that he used to call him back in the day. So I don't know. I think maybe when he gets an opponent who's not a pressure fighter with a higher level fighter, maybe that's when you'll see the best Raymond Ford. I know
the more of a chess match.
Yeah,
you'll see a better Raymond.
To me, like the whole class of like those Matchroom USA fighters, like remember when Eddie Hearn signed Mark Castro, Diego Pacheco, Emma Williams, he's part of that like class.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys kind of leave some things to be desired. Like I know Mark Castro fought on this card. He's a good fighter, very defensively sound. He's getting better, but the way you feel about Ford is how I feel about Mark Castro sometimes. Yeah.
Because he entertains.
He entertains. But there's some fights where it's like, okay.
Yeah. Funny. MJ Akhmadaliev and Marlon Tapales.
Good fight. MJ, he's one of these guys where he's had these belts for a long time. He won the title against Roman.
Yeah.
He's a guy that I think he's been a victim of inactivity. There's speculation of why he's been inactive. Some people say like he's ducking Steven. He ducked Steven Fulton and didn't want to make the undisputed fight. But whatever it was, I just saw a guy that was very, a lot of ring rust. And it cost him because Tapales is a guy who was hungry. He's been champion at 118. He wanted to become unified champion, can punch a little bit, and he made him work.
Yeah.
It was a close fight, could have went either way.
It was a close fight, could have went either way. I was happy to see it go the way that it went. Just a small fan of Marlon. So, and you're right, like with MJ, like between him being inactive and then seeing him at this level for so long, it's kind of like, okay, the style was kind of like,
Then when he was active, he wasn't really getting the best opponents to make defenses. Like he fought Ronnie Rios, the dude Iwasa. And like he never really fought a guy that he had to get up for. Maybe this is the first time since the Roman fight where he had to really get up for a fight. And he's kind of plateaued as a champion.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Kind of looked like the plateau. And it was like the same beat round after round from him, Yeah, we're pretty much up out of here. Pretty much up out of here.
Damn.
Didn't seem like all the boxing we just covered, the night was much longer than it seemed just now. And I know that we tried to fast forward through some things. Let's get to this real quick. Edgar Berlanga, he signed with DAZN now, right?
Yep. Jason Quigley.
Been out of the ring for a year. And he's got Jason Quigley next.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I hope you've been.
Well, he had I remember I was on BoxRec because I'm like a boxing nerd. Like I go on BoxRec and I look at the schedule sometimes to see who's fighting. Even on I know Jason Quigley fought recently. A little stay busy fight to get active.
Yeah.
So he probably won. I didn't check to see if he won, but he probably won. And that was enough for them to say, okay, he's active again.
Sure.
Made the fight happen.
Sure. Yeah. And Quigley's no joke. You know, Quigley's got the experience and can find that range and do what he needs to do.
He's better than I think he showed in the Andrade fight.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Andrade's a top fighter. You know, a lot of guys are gonna look bad against Andrade.
Yeah.
So there's no shame in that. But I think it's a fight where if Edgar's not careful, if he comes in like he did against, you know, the Steve Rolls.
You've been going a year.
Yeah.
You should come back different.
Yeah, hopefully.
After a year. Come back different.
Jason Quigley, by the way, won that fight on points.
Okay.
Thank you, Hafey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Teo. We got Teo against Josh Taylor.
Ooh, good fight.
Teo Lopez against Josh Taylor.
Great fight.
Hell
Could stylistically be a better fight for Teo than he's had, you know, in his recent fights against like Sandor Martin.
Yeah.
You know, we know Josh is a spiteful Scotsman. He likes to like be right there and impose himself on the opponents.
Your face. Yeah.
But Josh Taylor got a new trainer. He might be at a point in his career where, you know, okay, he might have to start tweaking some things. So I'm intrigued to see how he comes out. Because I'm like the president of the Josh Taylor fan club. I like Josh Taylor a lot. I like Teo too, because Teo, you know, he grew up boxing in South Florida. But it's a fight where I think if Taylor stays in the pocket too long, he could get hurt.
Yeah.
But it's also a fight where if Teo mentally ain't sharp, Josh Taylor being the spiteful person he is, that could be the difference in the fight.
Yeah. That's going to be a really good fight.
I love that fight. That's probably like the best fight on the top ranked schedule right now.
And for the sake of getting out of here, because we go, I really got it. We are going to preview for you guys week of. We're going to preview Tank Davis versus Ryan. Hell of a fight. Possibly the fight of the year. Definitely the event. We're going to preview this fight next week. Hopefully we will have one, if not two, of those fighters that you see right now on the show.
Oof.
And we will have Leonard Ellaby on the show as well.
It's going to be a fire show.
A hell of a show. If you're around.
I'll be around.
What? We'll let the audience tell us.
Okay, if you guys want me around.
Yeah, we'll let the audience tell us.
You know, I'm welcome back.
Yeah. But, I mean, not a bad step away from Mr. Zattel today.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you,
definitely
man.
gave me flashes.
No, Shawn, I mean, Shawn's a great friend of a great friend of mine and yours as well. And I learn off of him and he learns off, we learn off each other. We keep each other sharp. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you for joining the PorterWay. Shout out your show, your channel again.
Yes, True School Sports. You know, make sure you guys join the untouchable True School Sports empire. We talk about boxing at all levels. You know, from the prospects you guys probably never hear about to the mainstream fights. You know, sometimes some amateur stuff. I love amateur boxing. Shout out to everybody back home in South Florida who competed in the Florida Golden Gloves. You know?
No, no shout outs.
No shout
what are you doing?
Okay.
I didn't tell you.
Anyway,
what the hell is
True
happening
School Sports.
right now?
True School Sports.
Yes, just say True School Sports.
Thank you. True School Sports on YouTube. And yeah.
Hey, real quick, let's put this up. Life Driven has a celebrity golf outing in 2 weeks. The Monday, 2 weeks from today. Monday after Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, we will be streaming live this Sam Watson Celebrity Classic. Hell of a guest list. We'll dive a little bit more into that. There's a foundation behind the Celebrity Classic, which is what is more important to me, and that's the Life Driven Foundation. Go to lifedriven.org. You can donate. You can read about Life Driven. You can see the things that they're doing. They help cancer patients, specifically kids who have cancer. We had Mr. Angelo on our show really, really early on. If you guys wanted to type in Life Driven or something like that, you could find that episode and you can find out more about Mr. Angelo and the Life Driven Foundation beyond going to the website. But I definitely wanted to pub that right now because you can go and you can donate. But beyond that, hopefully they'll have us in a space where we can give y'all a glimpse of everyone who's golfing: Kevin Hart, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, A-listers, Tiger. The list goes on. I'm gonna give you guys some more as we get closer. Jamie Foxx, I believe, will be there as well. Michael Jordan. I don't think Jordan is there, but Magic Johnson is. So I mean, that's not a
that's still great. Like,
hell yeah. So I mean, the list goes on. We'll get more into that next week. We'll preview that again. Want you guys to check out our live. You know we're gonna be live all week during Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia anyway. So
fun fact, me and Sam Watson share a birthday. You can archive that one.
So you gonna interrupt what I'm doing to archive? Don't give a damn when you're. All right, let's tell the fans when your birthday is, and hopefully we'll get some shout outs.
It's April 17th.
April 17th, Mr. Hafey. I give him a lot of shit, but honestly, man, this podcast wouldn't be here without him. He was the first and the last stop when it came to making this. As always, we appreciate Hafey, his knowledge, aka his computer right there that helps get us through the entire show. All that being said, Rival Boxing, go to Rival Boxing. Go to Rival Boxing right now. Promo code rivalboxing.com. Promo code TPWP15. You get 15% off. Not everything in the store is 15% off, but a majority of the stuff is. There's some things they just gonna have to charge out full price. But I've already said this time and time again. Best boxing gloves I've ever worn to train in. So y'all go to rivalboxing.com. TPWP15 is the promo code. 50% off. Also, our Patreon, we got some stuff up there now. And we will preview an episode on the Patreon this coming week. So there's that.
Oh, okay.
So sign up for the Patreon. There is a tier on there for you. If you did not check out our motivational message today, we had Brian Mendoza in the studio.
Abala. His nickname. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. I was like, purpose. Find your purpose, and your purpose will drive your energy. If you feel like, I got nothing, your energy's low, find your purpose. When you find your purpose, you find the energy to go after whatever it is you want in life. This is the PorterWay.